Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to yet another uLaw webinar. In today's webinar, we're going to be discussing about the uLaw's analytics capabilities, the dashboarding capabilities, and how the analytics engine, along with the insight that it provides about your business, can really allow you to take proactive measures, measure the success of your business based on the data points that we know, provide you with insights to some of the questions that you may be pondering yourself, and give you the opportunity to compare these data points and these insights so that you can make more meaningful decisions about your business and the decisions that influence how you can better run your business towards profitability and more efficiently. Okay? Now, today's webinar has not been accredited for any CPD credits. It's going to be yet another uLaw webinar where we walk you through the product's functionality itself. It's going to be really a quick, fun-filled session, maybe about 45 minutes. Gives us the opportunity to really showcase to you the key capabilities of the analytical engine that comes along with the uLaw product at no extra charge. It's just part of the engine itself. It's part of the uLaw engine. We call it the analytics. And I'm going to walk you through the product after I've done a bit of slide share in setting really the context for why we built it, how our clients use it today, and how you may look to also take advantage of the mobile app and the analytical capabilities in the app as well. Okay. For our colleagues and friends who joined us today, I kindly request you to mute your phone lines. And please do use the chat window to ask any questions that you may have during any time in today's session. Like every other uLaw webinar, today's webinar has a specific agenda, is to, as I mentioned earlier, talk about the analytical capabilities, how the analytics within uLaw provides a 360-degree view of your business, and that could include information about your clients, could include information about your profit and loss, your revenue and expense. It could also be certain important considerations such as capital investments, drawing transfers, etc., whatever reflects and touches your business in a big way. Okay? Analyzing accounting data, many times these are reports and printable documents that are provided for either compliance purposes or many times to file your taxes. But when you're in the process of running the business, and if you really want to quickly understand where you are in that life cycle of running your business, you probably want to have a better view of it, a just-in-time dashboard view of those business numbers, so the accounting numbers. So the analytics provides you that key capability of providing you that just-in-time dashboard, both on the web version of uLaw and now also on the mobile app itself. So we're going to walk you through a comparison of what that analytical engine looks like across both these experiences. Okay? And what does this empower you with? It truly gives you deep insight into different facets of your legal business. Okay? As I mentioned earlier, facets such as profit, loss, revenue, expense, and these are key indicators to any business. But when you talk about legal business, we go to the extent of providing you insights such as how much of pro bono have I provided, okay, over a date range? How much of pro bono have I provided in comparison to the overall time that I've spent in my legal business this year? Who are the top clients who have taken advantage of the pro bono that I've provided? And these are nuances of the legal business and insights that are more particular and important to you as a legal business owner. So those are the types of dashboards that we complement any business-specific dashboards that we may already provide you. Okay? So it's really important that you can appreciate the science behind why we developed this so that you can consume it better and put that to work to make meaningful decisions for your business. And as I mentioned earlier, all this is available to either existing uLaw customers or anyone new who's trying to explore what the product can offer. It's available to you in the base product at no extra charge. These types of insights we understand when we talk to colleagues and other experts in this industry. These are tools that large law firms have, either by using products, tools, or human capital to get this kind of insight and data so that they can be very strategic and tactical about how they invest and how they can improve their business outcomes. Okay? So our key capability study of why we provide this analytical engine is to empower you, a solo practitioner, or a small law firm, or a medium-sized law firm who doesn't necessarily have all the bells and whistles, the economic resources, as well as human capital to get that kind of data. We provide it to you in one platform at a click of a button. Okay? Now, from an analytical standpoint, we talk about a lot of legal-specific analytics. One of the key capabilities is to really drive out of the files that you manage, the matters that you manage, right? And especially if you're a small mid-law firm or a solo practitioner in particular, you really need to understand your business from past success, failures, and then have a wish list of where you want to be so that you can assess your past success and failures and work towards that future and give you that kind of goal setting, if you will, for where you want to become. And the analytical capabilities gives you the opportunity to not only measure but also assess where you've been and where you want to be. Okay? And uLaw, through its analytical engine, gives you the key data, the insights, and the knowledge to feel like a large law firm. The analytics engine also helps you understand the state of your practice, very important at every juncture along the way, whether that's a quarterly review, a monthly review, or a daily review of your books and your business health. The analytics, is part of that platform that you use every day to manage your matters, manage your business expenses. It's part of that key platform, and it's capturing all these data points as you're entering it into the system and then providing you in a simple, consumable dashboard way that gives you insights that you can take corrective actions on, you can be proud of. Maybe you're making tremendous success with revenue and you've reduced your expenses in comparison to last year, so you can truly be proud of the corrections that you've taken. Or if you're not there yet, you can actually take corrective actions to get to where you want to be as well. Okay? So really understand analytics, or keep in mind that the analytics is your sidekick that's really giving you the data to make informed business decisions. So what does this analytical engine do? It analyzes your client, matter, and accounting data. Fundamentally, it analyzes it. But how does it analyze it? It analyzes it together in a holistic manner. About how a client is related to a matter, is related to the revenue that you generate, right? Related to the accounting data that leads to. Because once you've generated an invoice with regards to a client for a matter, that automatically reflects in the revenue ledgers that are important from an accounting standpoint, right? So the analytical engine just does not analyze individually these components. It looks to analyze it in a very holistic manner. Okay? In analyzing it in a holistic manner, we're able to provide you insights and answers to complex questions. For example, as you could see here, we studied the fee and expense book, the invoice balances, even work-in-progress matters. So dashboard capabilities could tell you at any given time, what are those files that you're already working on? What are those files that you're yet to docket or yet to bill? Okay? That's important only if you assess the data across these different silos. Who are my best and worst performing clients? Maybe you have a net 30 as your payment terms, and maybe you have this customer, unfortunately, who defaults. who are those customers? Or maybe there's an area of practice, maybe small claims just so happens in your life that you've often found customers that you serve within the small claims to be defaulters. We're able to provide you that level of insight into your business. Okay. And why we're able to provide that insight is because of the data that you provide the product by using it on a regular basis, on a daily basis, to run your business, to docket that matter, to put in the business expenses. So you do all the effort. We are silent listeners taking, assessing this data, putting it together, putting it to work, and providing you with the key information and knowledge that you need of having done all the heavy lifting of running that business, right? So this is really a thank you on a Black Friday Thanksgiving evening to say, thank you for all that data. Here's how we're able to say, this is what you get as an outcome of all that work that you put in. And it's given to you in tabular data. I mean, if you're a person who really likes the reports and likes to visualize it, tabular column-wise data, you can run reports, you can run, even a tabular data dashboard is available for you to consume. If you're more visual in terms of pie charts and bar charts, we do that as well. We go one step further to provide it to you in simple Q&A format. Okay, so there's a question and an answer. What's my revenue for this period? That's the answer. What was my revenue last term? And how do I compare it between these two? We give that to you as simple as just plain English Q&A formats. Okay, so those are the significant 4 different formats in which we provide data and information to you through our analytical engine. A quick snapshot of the types of key analytical, I would say, components that you can expect out of the analytical engine. Okay. Insights about the revenue. We spoke about this. So over a particular date range, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, over a quarter, or even for the entire year, you can pretty much click a button and generate the revenue based on the data that's already in existence within the uLaw product. Now, uLaw is not only a legal accounting software, it's also a very complementary business accounting software. So being a business accounting software, we give you the opportunity to use uLawPractice to capture your business expenses, not just your disbursements for a matter, but also business expenses that you incur to keep the lights on in your business, right? Rent, any utilities, the law society fees, any insurance fees, all these are types of examples of business expenses that you would certainly incur to run your business. So we capture or give you the opportunity to capture that. And that in capturing that, we also capture the applicable taxes across all provinces in Canada, and hence are able to provide you the taxes either owing to the government or how much the government owes you by tallying the taxes paid and the taxes received, right? So it's, the single platform gives you that unified view of all the important data that you need to practice and run your business. Expense book is a key law society document, but also can be provided to you in a very visually engaging format. One of my favorites is, and that's something that's often used today by our clients, is the fee book by category. And as I've called it, area of practice. So when you create a matter within uLaw, we give you the flexibility to create your own areas of practice. Criminal law, family law, immigration law, small claims, POA, WSIB. So you can really, based on the nature of your business, plan and execute these different types of areas of practice that you and your colleagues and your firm is going to focus on as a business. But what we do is fantastic. As you capture that data, when you create that file, we also capture what that area of practice is. Or in fact, we ask you to please tell us what area of practice is this file belonging to. When you start generating invoices and when you start generating revenue we're now happily on your behalf capturing all the data specific to that area of practice. We can give you insight about not just the revenue and expense, but profit and loss as intrinsic as it gets to any area of practice. Okay? We provide you the similar kind of granularity when it comes to expenses. So where are you spending most of your money to run your business? Is it in the rent? What's the percentage improvement or decrease of your rent over the last year? As if it's increased, maybe it's an opportunity for you to consider moving to another more cost-effective location. Okay? Even give you expenses by clients. If there's a particular client that you think that you spend a lot of money on, we can give you that insight as well. Now, the more legal specific dashboards, work in progress matters. So what are all those matters that you're currently working on that you have the due diligence to docket and generate an invoice to make your money? How much of pro bono have you provided over a date range, both by client, as I mentioned earlier, as well as by the overall time when it compares to billable hours and pro bono hours? Okay? That is a very important spread for a legal practitioner. How much of percentage of my time on a daily basis or spread over a period of time goes towards billable time that I can make money on and goes towards pro bono work that I really can make money on, right? So it's really important for you to measure the amount of pro bono that you provide. One of the important discussions that was actually highlighted in an article written by the Law Society of Ontario early this year. Many times legal professionals really don't understand how much of free time they're actually giving away and how that can sometimes impact you running your business itself, right? If it's a conscious decision to provide that pro bono, then fantastic. We also have a report to tell you who are those beneficiary clients that have benefited your Good Samaritanship, right? Some of the newer dashboards that we've include the invoice list. You want to understand how many invoices as your law firm generated? Click of a button. We'll pretty much tell you the total number. We can even tell you specific to a matter who has had the maximum number of invoices at a given period of time. So maybe a particular matter had, 35 invoices. A bit of an anomaly. So you probably want to have a deeper dive conversation within your firm or yourself to really understand what happened in that matter. Why were there so many invoices? Was it that you did not generate pre-bill? Could have you avoided some back and forth? Had you generated some pre-bills? Got your customers' approval without going back and forth with new invoices? Maybe that was the situation. So these insights really allow you to ponder and make corrective measures, as I said, to be successful. Maybe you didn't have to spend all that time in providing new invoices. And to some of the more recent ones include reports and dashboards around capital investments. You as a business owner, how much of money have you put into this business? What's your capital into this business? Or if there are multiple partners in a law firm, what's the capital invested by these individual partners? And if you're running a business, depending on how you organize the revenue that you draw out of the business, whether you draw money on a periodic basis or you've had a set salary to pay yourself, because you've got to pay yourself, earn that money to run life, we give you that information as well. Because these are very important line items that actually go into your income statement as well. Okay, so keeping a tab on all these things on a very regular basis in a consumable, 4 different formatted dashboard across multiple experiences is everything that we do with the analytical engine. Okay? Bottom line, with our analytics engine, you have the power of a large law firm. Okay? When it comes to data, when it comes to information, when it comes to the opportunity to put that information to work. But before I jump into the actual demonstration of these key capabilities, and we'll take it one line at a time, I'll pause to ask if there are any questions in the slide share so far, if there's specific areas within the analytics of today's webinar's context that you would like me to cover. For those who don't know who we are as a company, we're proudly a Canadian-based practice management, legal accounting, and business accounting software. And we do offer, and our promise is to provide legal practitioners a very cost-effective, convenient, and compliant practice management. And do check us out on our website, uLawPractice.com, and we do offer, very similar to a Netflix experience, a free 30-day trial sign-up that you could use to experience the product and really understand if it works for you and your business. Okay? And we're nice people and we love to talk. And let me now shift gears into logging into uLawPractice. We're a cloud-based product. We're a 256-bit encrypted, so secured, data backed up, data very much in Canada, out of our servers here in Canada. And we only serve Canadian legal professionals, and hence there's a lot of situational fluency in the kind of features that we develop that's more meaningful to legal professionals across Canada. Okay? So legal aid, jurisdictional taxes, specific to the Canadian territories. So I'm going to skip some of, this is a very, common playground account that I use for all my demonstrations. I've logged in as a legal professional, Mr. uLawPractice, or Mr. Roger Moore in this case. I think there's a quick question from one of our participants. Today's webinar is called Analytics, Mobile and Desktop. And this particular webinar is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel for you to review at a later time. Okay? So traditionally what I would do is I would use the playground account. I've logged in as Mr. Roger Moore. I would use this to create clients, docket the time, generate the invoices, do trust transfers, right? Put it off as expenses, and I've done that over a period of time. What I want to focus today's particular webinar's context is focus on the analytics engine. This is a relatively new feature within the uLaw platform, and hence, if this is something that's new to you, we're more than happy to take this offline and explain it to you in further detail. But it's very much available to you as part of your platform. And if you didn't know about this, then hopefully this is a great segue for you to discover the power that you already had with regards to data and information about your practice, that is. Okay? So here you see, just similar to our dashboard experience, 4 different widgets or dashboard items, right? But it's under the analytics. Now, like everything else in uLaw, this is configurable as well. So you can very well go into your settings, dashboards, and pretty much say the number of analytical items that you want to utilize at any given time. Let's say I want 6, that's the maximum number of analytical dashboard items you can have at any given time. I'm going to just go ahead and make the experience as elaborate as possible. So I'm going to actually say I want 6 analytical items, and now let me jump back into the analytics engine. Okay. Now you're going to see this change from a 4-window panel to 6 different dashboard windows. Okay. Now under each drop-down, we pretty much have the 18 to 20 different, I would say, analytical questions that you can ask uLaw, and we're happy to provide you with the answer or the data for that question. Okay, so really imagine creating a question out of each of these subject lines. So revenue, uLaw insight. maybe ask yourself, all right, what is the revenue that uLaw is able to provide as an insight regarding my practice? Then we ask you, all right, perfect, we'll be happy to provide you that answer. Just tell us, what date range do you expect to see this revenue? So maybe I'm interested in the month of November to really know what my revenue looks like. Okay, so we spoke about the 4 different formats. That's obviously contextually based, really comes down to how meaningful is it to provide those different formats. So this particular dashboard element has the data format, but also has the Q&A format. Okay, so really here are the top 6 questions that you can further subcategorize the bigger question. So the bigger question was, what is the revenue for the month of November? Now we help you break it down into 6 further subcategory questions. Okay, so what's the total income in this period? So it's $11,455. Right, that's fantastic. This is unfortunately a playground account, but I wish for you and everyone who's joined me today that you had that kind of success and that kind of revenue. What category was the highest revenue and how much was it? Okay, so within that revenue, we asked the question, about $4,000 has come out of your family law business, which is the highest revenue or area of practice that generated that kind of revenue in this particular month, that is. So then we talk about the second highest, third highest, fourth, and fifth. Okay, and you can do that using our little navigation right here. And we also tell you in the Q&A format. You can pretty much hide these timelines if you just want the data. Now let's say you want to compare this. So this was specific to the month of November. So you want to understand, all right, same question. What was my revenue? But this time I want to compare it, let's say, with last month. So I quickly change the calendar item to reflect the month of October between the 1st to the 31st. Okay? Fantastic. Let me just click go. Less than, 3 seconds, you know that you actually made $16,000 as an income in the month of October. So yeah, $11,000 was great, but now when you compare it to October, it kind of gives you a totally different insight into your data, right? So let's look at this further. So again, obviously this is playground account. There's a lot of dummy data in it. But if you look at it, we made about $6,000 out of our criminal practice in the month of October. Okay? There's absolutely no criminal, I believe, where it came to November. Right? There was workplace investigation, there was family law, there was POA, small claims. So maybe, assuming that these are real numbers, it allows you to ponder, all right, what happened? Why did my criminal law not succeed this month? And you can do that across various date ranges. You can ask yourself, how am I performing compared to last year's November? Wouldn't that be interesting, right? So you can actually go back in time as well. So you can go back right to 2017 and ask the same question between this and going back in time. And hopefully we have the data to make this interesting for you. I'm going to leave you with just this one interesting component. Okay. Well, what do you know? So it's very similar. And if you look at our income statement for the month of November, it was about $11,400. In the month of November 2017, our revenue was about $11,300. Very interesting, right? Those are the kind of comparative studies that you can give yourself between date ranges for a single question. Okay? So maybe let's just leave the revenue component to it, and you can use the additional dashboard elements to really give it to you a side-by-side comparison now. So let me look at my expense. So the question is, what was my expense that uLaw can provide as an insight? So I choose that question. I say I want it for the month of November 2018, and I say go. And let me just pause this, and let's go with these numbers. You had about $2,700 as an expense. Same sort of Q&A. Which category had the highest expense? And we divided over 5 different categories. Okay? So rent was the highest category of the expenses for the month of November 2018. So let's compare that with last month as an example, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Perfect. So I've chosen the date. You can see it's just click of a button. It's less than 3 to 5 seconds, really depending on the date range and how much data needs to be crunched to give you that information. Interesting. Interestingly enough, you had about $4,000 of expenses last month. So you've done fantastic by doing something to reduce that expense, or maybe that's what you have to digress to really understand. Is why did my expense come down? Good thing, bad thing, right? Same set of answers. So expenses on client accounts was predominantly high last month. So maybe you didn't have those many disbursements to begin with in the month of November 2018. So you can again compare this with 2017, but you can really compare your income statement for November and your expense statement for November with October. Okay? Let's say I want to know my profit and loss, which is really income minus expense. We have a dashboard for that as well. So what is my profit and loss, particularly for the month of November? So fantastic. It was a profit mode. It tells you right away. And that was the profit that you made in the month of November 2018, close to $8,000. How did that come about? Simple math. You divide minus this by this, and that's the number you should get, right? Because that's the same information we're going to give you here. But we tell you what was the highest revenue, but in a single snapshot, imagine realizing this information. Compare it with last month, or compared with last year, compared with the last quarter. So you have full control over the question that you want to ask uLaw, and we can provide you with the data points, and the comparative study of the insights that you need to again make those informed decisions. This is something that's pretty cool about the web experience of the uLaw analytics. Okay, so I want to spend maybe about 5-6 minutes to show you what the mobile app experience is, but the comparative study is something that we feel is a bit of a cool feature when it comes to using analytics. So let me just finish the flow here. I'm going to choose the end of October to really understand what my profit and loss was. It was still profitable last month. Okay. Now let's say you don't want these. You can just say none. You can just, it's almost like a whiteboard. You can just clean your whiteboard and basically say, I want to start something new. Okay. We still obviously leave you with the date ranges because that's something that we need to give you those insights. So we looked at kind of the top 4, revenue, expense, profit, and loss. We can do the same thing with fee book, expense book, but let me walk you through one of my favorite dashboard items that, as I said, our clients use predominantly. And let's use this drop window. I'm going to do it for the whole year. So from January 1st till date, what's my revenue like across various different areas of practice? And where does this area of practice come from? As I mentioned earlier, when you create a file to tell us that this is a new matter for a client, one of the important aspects before you even create a file is to provide us with a title that you can quickly refer or relate to, and an area of practice for us to understand, or for you to indicate what area of practice does this file belong to. So what you see is what you get. So whatever you provide here is pretty much what we use to provide it to you in this format. Okay? Obviously, the whole year has been various different areas of practice, right? So starting with family law to small claims, and we even have a bar chart view, okay, if you like that better. And there's a tabular view, okay, and you can use the sorting to really understand. You can see family law with about 7.8% still leading for the entire year, shortly followed by criminal, POA, and you can see there's something called family. Again, this is a playground account, so people used various different categories. Now, this is an important juncture to also plan and execute certain core areas of practice. If you find this to be the case, just go and change this to family law and make that so that it's more holistic. So it's really important that you define these areas of practice with a sense of purpose to begin with, so that we can then give you the relevant data, and that all makes sense based on how you plan to execute it to begin with, right? So this is for the entire year, and I can do that now for my expense by category for the entire year as well. So I'll just say yearly, and I'll say go. So I think, with maybe a bit of Mississippi counting, I got about 8 seconds. Almost 52% with expenses for unclaimed accounts, which is not bad, because you're hoping that that's a recoverable expense, right? But from an office standpoint, you had about 10% as a line of credit, interest on line of credit, and almost 14 or 13% was rent, and about 17% of miscellaneous, okay? So you pretty much get a hang of the types of analytical dashboard capabilities that we provide you for each of the questions that you can ask us across these 18 to 20 different high-level question points, okay? We spoke about specific legal-based dashboard items, so you could say, what does my pro bono look like for the whole year? And we give it to you by client. So which client had the maximum pro bono? So when you categorized it, you categorized it as miscellaneous. But if I were to really look at it from a tabular standpoint, and I just sort this, Mr. Indiana Jones has about 8 hours, or about 9%, followed by Mrs. Tina, about 5 hours provided to her. Bean, about 4.5 hours of pro bono, right? Let's say I want to understand pro bono chart by hours. So between my billable time and my non-billable time, or pro bono hours, what's that spread look like for the whole year? Fantastic. So you've spent in total 630 hours of billable hours, okay, and about 168 hours of pro bono. This kind of gives you only the top 20, 22 maybe, but there's probably more. Okay? So about, give or take, let's do a pie chart for some growth. About 78% of your billable hours, or of your total hours spent, was billable, and close to about 22% was pro bono. Okay? So maybe you want to compare this with last year. What did that look like? Yearly, I'll just change the date range. Let's say go. Okay, So if you really look at it, you had about 81% of billable hours and at about 19% of pro bono. So you can see your pro bono went up by about 3%. Okay, so that's kind of your comparative study of your business, specific to the legal side of your business. What are the unbilled hours charted by matter? And I'll do that again for the whole year, just to have more data that I can show you. So feel free, for those who do use uLaw today, feel free to use this capability and really understand your data. And for those who are looking to explore a legal accounting practice management software, this is one of the key capabilities that we offer to you as a legal professional to take advantage of, to have a better sense of your business. Okay? So here are some of the matters that we know, at least in this entire year, that have not been billed. Okay? You look at family law for divorce, about 2 hours of time has not yet been billed. For this particular eviction, there's about 1.4 hours that have not yet been billed. For Marius with Steffi, almost 3.45 hours. And we give you the pertinent information, so MJ917479. You can go into our quick view, and we provide this as reports as well. But you could pretty much use the product now to take a corrective action. So search for the particular matter. Here's defense issue. Jump right into the particular matter, and then generate the invoice or bill. You can see it does tell you invoice pending, right? So go ahead, generate that invoice. So that, that's one quick logical step that you can take to make your money. Okay? So currently, already the client owes you about $900. Now with this new invoice, with all the dockets being billed, that might actually go up. Again, depending on the time spent. Okay? So that's another key component of your analytics, is to give you real-time data about existing matters as well. And to say that some of the last reports that I'd like to kind of walk you through, total list of invoices. I mentioned this. Let's check this out. So let's say for the whole year, let's figure out what my invoice looks like. Fantastic. You've had about 247 invoices this year. When was the first invoice raised? It was for a paralegal work, A155,297. So that was really your first invoice. What was the last invoice? It was the one that we raised just now. Okay? And which matter, we say who served the most invoices and how many? We got about 15 is the total number of invoices that were raised for this particular client, Sam. Okay? And really depending on the law firm or the legal firm that's using the product, you could pretty much understand your capital investment by the total investors in the firm. Let's say across the entire year, I want to understand how much of money has been invested. So let's assuming Roger Moore is the majority holder, he's invested about 23 grand, about 52%. And you've got Karen, who's invested about $9,000, about 20%. Courtney, another 8,000, and Mr. Singh, about another 5,000. So right away, it kind of gives you that cool spread of how much of investment has come in from the different investors. Now, you can also understand how much of drawing has already been done across your employees or across your partners. Okay? So pretty much you understand Mr. The majority of the drawing has gone to Mr. Roger Moore. He's drawn about 10 grand or 11 grand. Mr. Singh has drawn about 2,000 over this entire year. And Susan has drawn about $1,500. Okay. So with maybe another 5 or 6 minutes left, I'd like to now jump into showing you. So everything that I've shown you now is a web experience of the uLaw product. If there are any questions, please feel free to text them away or chat them away using a chat window. If you don't have any more questions now, but if you do come up with questions, do email us at support@uLawPractice.com, and we'll be happy to answer those. And I'm going to quickly shift gears to show you what a mobile experience looks like of these data analytics. Okay? Let me take a second. Okay. So actually, if you notice, I'm logged into, let me start from the first. Let me log out. So uLaw is available to you as a downloadable app, both on your Android Play Store as well as your iOS. Let me go ahead and put in my same username for Roger. I'm going to put in my password, very secretive. And I'm just going to hit sign it. So you can download our app. It's absolutely free for you to use. And obviously the app gives you information about our clients, about your clients in fact. You can search for client information. So you could say Sing, and there's all the things there. Right? It gives you key aspects. You can click on Lisa. It takes you right into that contacts information. It tells you, and if you click on the little briefcase that you see here, it will take you right into the matter too. So right from the contact, you can jump into a matter or a couple of matters that they may have. So if there's just one matter, just the immigration matter. If you look at this question mark right here at the bottom, we give you quick insights right here specific to matters. So within the app, we've obviously given you this question mark that gives you insights about a specific matter. If it's going to just keep running to ask you. So far in this matter, you've had one invoice. You can just swipe left. It tells you the total invoice for this matter was $592, and actually it has been paid. Right? That's the total amount paid. There's no invoice balance. And wow, it's been more than a year and a half since this invoice was generated. Right? Interestingly enough, there were some trust funds involved, and that was taken out as well. And trust balance is 0. Right? In a snapshot, it gave you all the insights that you needed, very specific to this matter or this file. Okay? So that's one key component of the Insight engine when it comes to the app. Very particular in set of analytical, or I would say insights, data insights. Okay, my battery's running out. That's not a good thing. The number of days since the last withdrawal. Okay? Last deposit. Any pending trust transfers. Does the client owe you any money? Any settlements? Look at the amount of information we provide you. How much of retainer was provided to begin with? Interesting. So the person gave you $1,500, and you had actually refunded $1,000 back. Right? That's an insight that I got to know about this matter and how this matter may have played out with just that information. Or the total number of dockets in the matter, 4. And what was the total billable time? An hour and 12 minutes. Interesting. Any pro bono dockets? And we say, yes, there is one. And that's 1. Any flat rate dockets? Yes, and there's 2. So on a random matter that I just picked up, there's just so much of information that we gain, right? And what was the total billable hour? any expenses. Very important, right? So this is the kind of insight that you, on a Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, can start to drive with each matter. Really understand a particular matter as you're working on it. Okay, so it's all file related. So we're back with our charge, so we should be good. And finally it ends. The amount of insight, almost 25 different data points that we've collected just within this matter. Okay. Now let me go into my menu option and jump into my counts. And I have a question mark right under here as well. So let me click the question mark. Now this gives you a very similar dashboardy analytics engine right within the power of your app. The big difference between, so if you click on the capital investment, it pretty much tells you the same set of dashboard items, just obviously listed in a different way. So if I were to look at fee book by category, and let's say for the month, and I hit go, this is a totally different visualization or representation. Okay? So right at the bottom you see, expenses, real estate, POA, HTA, small claims, and miscellaneous. Interestingly enough, if I click on the number 6, right now we've just divided this into 5 different items, so I can just rotate this and you see, small claims, about 18%. You can just rotate this with your finger. Now if I click on the number 6 at the bottom, uLaw would automatically give you the 6th category that you didn't see. So if I look at my tabular version, there it is. If I go to 5, it's going to give you the 5 different line items. If I go to 6, it's going to give you the 6th category. Same thing with bar chart. Okay, if I do 7, it's kind of breaking it down. The more you want, the more you can have. And if I click all, it's going to give you everything. So in total, there's only about 7 different categories in which you've made money in this month. Okay, so click on fee book chart by category, pro bono chart by hours, and let's do it for the whole year. And again, as I said, it should take less than 12 to 15 seconds. Oh, even better, it's faster. So if I go to my pie chart, there it is, the same 81% compared to the 90%. Okay. A work in progress charts for the whole year. These are the same set of information that you'd captured. The one big difference between the web experience and this is obviously the fact that this gives you all the different transactions right here. The one big difference is if you really want to do a comparative study, then it's in your best interest to use the web experience. But if you just want just-in-time information about a particular matter, or without comparing it to anything else, you just want that specific question to be answered. So what is the fee book by category for this particular week? If it's very just in time, then you pretty much know what that is without even comparing it with anything else. Okay? So about 26% came from real estate. So again, this is a free app. You can download this, use your same credentials that you use for the web experience, and you should be able to do this. Okay? Profit and loss kind of gives you the same, or this week. There you go. It's an operating mode and you can switches. That's your income statement. Expense. The highest revenue. Okay? So do maximize the use of these dashboards. Oh, my bad. Is there ever a demo when before that happens? Right. just when everything was just fine and dandy. Okay. Let's say for the month, for the whole year maybe. There you go. It's got the Roger Moore, Mr. Singh, Courtney, and Karen's information. The same piece of information that we had when we reviewed the same dashboard item within our web experience. Okay. So let me shift gears back to my white share, and hopefully this kind of gave you a bit of an insight to the analytical engine, the capabilities that it provides, and how, when you use your own data, it's going to make a significant improvement to how you use that data to build efficiencies and to be more profitable as a business, and take corrective measures and be proud of those corrective measures as you see your business improve. Okay? Once again, today's webinar is called uLaw. I think we call it Analytics and Insights, but truly the webinar was uLaw Analytics Mobile and Desktop. Okay? It's going to be available on our YouTube channel no later than Monday. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take that now. And that's all, pretty much everything I wanted to share with you in today's webinar. Once again, I thank everyone who joined us. We sincerely appreciate you joining us on this Friday afternoon. And we'll look forward to any questions that you may have. Again, feel free, if you don't have any specific questions, if this was straightforward, I'll take that as a positive feedback for my presentation today. But if you find there are certain questions that haunt you after my webinar today, please do email me or us at support@uLawPractice.com. Okay. Now, this particular session is not for any CPD credits. I did mention that earlier on today. It's not available for CPD credits because this is just a feature demonstration. But we are providing you with a set of CPDs in the month of December. We actually did a CPD webinar last week, and that was on the expense management, which is available on our YouTube channel. We're actually having a CPD session next week, which is around, last week's presentation was called expense management. Now, next week, we're actually going to be providing a 1-hour CPD, okay, called on professionalism credits, on how you make your the BX, CX, UX, and PX better for your law office. If you want to know what that means, we'd love to see you in our webinar next week. Okay? That's for another 1-hour CPD as well. Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone who joined me today. And what is it called this week? Okay, this is, we've gone this. Today's webinar is called uLaw Analytics Mobile and Desktop. Next week is called How to Make Your BX, CX, UX, and PX Better for Your Law Office. Okay? Fantastic. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you in our next webinar next week. Thank you.